I've been aware of Adam Oldfield for about 10 years. He's well known in the Hamilton, Ontario area as the leader of FPM3 Marketing and Design.
Correct.
Welcome,
Thank you.
Adam. So you do all these things. So I'm going to list a few off.
Go ahead.
You appear regularly on local radio,
Yep.
CHML, speaking about technology. You teach at the local college on occasion, right?
Part-time, yeah.
So lately you can be heard, you're expanding your empire. You're on AM 640 in Toronto.
Yes, across all the global radio network now. But
So you took over your father's business, a Vacuum Man? Was it your father's business?
that's right. My dad started it in 79, yeah. And my wife and I took it over, I'm going to say now going on 3 years.
So when my phone rings at the dinner
It isn't
hour,
me.
it's you
It's not me.
trying
No,
to get me to do
I want to say it's me. I'd love to call you just to harass everybody if I could, but no, that's not us.
No one's got a landline anymore. I don't know.
No.
The phone rings, I don't answer it. So you're
Yeah.
and you're running for city councillor, which we'll talk about later.
Yep.
So you're busy.
Yeah, I got a full plate. Yeah,
So, dude, this is an intervention. I've tricked you down here.
I knew it.
You're making the rest of us look bad because you're way too busy. So I had a few choices
Yes.
when I was making the super
Yep.
that goes under you.
Yeah.
But I landed on entrepreneur/actor,
Okay.
and that's because
Yeah.
you actually have a role in the upcoming, I guess we'll call it a documentary, kind of a docudrama on Vice.
Yes.
Airs in August.
Yep.
So this is well timed for that.
Right.
The Dark Side of Comedy. And you're playing Chris Farley.
Yeah.
How the heck did you get this role?
Great question. Well, I've always had a bit of a demeanor of Chris Farley all my life. I mean, before Chris Farley was even a thing in the 90s, there was the Adam Oldfield. Of course, between Burlington and Hamilton, I was only well known as that very rambunctious, heavy-set, fun guy. And how it came about was December, a friend of mine, who I'm a part of in that little list, is Rotary Club of Hamilton. A friend of mine in the Rotary Club of Hamilton, he does a lot of background acting, and he sent me a casting call and said, this is you. So it was a casting call to actual agents. I don't have an agent. I don't have, as you mentioned, I don't have.
I was going to ask you. That was another question. You don't even have an agent?
No, I don't have an agent.
So this is a casting call.
It was
basically.
a casting call, and when I saw it, and I talked to my wife because when you look through the requirements, it was a story about Chris Farley. It's the documentary, which you're right, but it was at the time of when he passed. So the story begins from the moment he got hired at Saturday Night Live right through to his death. And so I'm not going to give my age away, but I'm not 33 anymore. And I thought, I don't know if I'm going to do this. My wife was very much, Michelle just said to me, honey, you got to do it. Seriously, why not? So I did. I actually turned on the cameras and I filmed they gave you a bunch of scenarios you had to do. So one was Matt Foley, one was an interview with Jay Leno, another one with Conan O'Brien. I had to do the opening sequence where he bursts into the David Letterman show and does cartwheels. And
So you've already shot this. It's coming out. So have you? They let you see it at all?
No, I haven't seen any. We filmed for 4 days in Toronto. So they called me, I got the part, ironically, and when I got it, I was first of all surprised. Second was honored. Third was, holy smokes, I've never done this before. So I'm horrible with scripts, Jim.
Right.
Like, I mean, if you gave me a
memorizing
script right now and said,
right?
okay, Adam, here's what we're going to say, I'd be like, hey, yeah, that's not happening.
So I assume this was. There's real documentary footage of Chris Farley, and then you actually have speaking parts in this?
You know what? Honestly, I don't know. They made me talk through the whole thing.
Okay.
The way I understand it is,
Well, I saw the trailer.
Yes.
And the trailer, there's a glimpse of you, maybe the back of your head or something.
Yeah.
So what I was assuming was they'd intercut real documentary footage with like sinister, shady things of, behind the scenes. This is Chris, the things that cameras can't shoot, like the sinister stuff, like the drug use or whatever.
right?
Behind the
Yeah,
camera.
there was a lot of, as I understand it, there's Lorne Michaels and Chris's brother. They're all telling the story, and as they're narrating it, I'm
Right.
acting it.
Yes.
So I'm doing the scene. So they'll speak and you'll see me do it.
So you were actually acting out skits and things? You were doing the skits?
I did skits. I played it out as if my brother and I just got the call from Lorne Michaels. We played it out that I was in a limousine with a ton of lovely ladies and some nose candy.
At the height of his...
and we drove around with McDonald's, and I remember...
so they made you eat and take drugs and...
I was Chris Farley. I mean, I acted Chris Farley, but I was Farley. And there was a part where I was like, I don't want to be Farley anymore. Like, it was horrible. There was actually a time I said to my wife, I'm never doing... Like, when we finished, I said, I don't want to do this again.
So you did this as a kind of a party trick before the Chris Farley imitation?
I do a quick little...
Well, your friend obviously knew that...
Yeah.
I mean, you physically, vaguely look like
I'll do I did it when I was in radio. I mean, going into my career growing up, I was in radio. And one of my bits was I called him Ed Polanski. It was just a name I made up. Right. And I would be hired by the radio station to go on stage and introduce bands. And I did this Chris Farley bit, which I called myself head of security. So I was at Lulu's, I was at Cops Coliseum, and I did a lot of these concert venues for Canadian bands. And they would bring me in. Universal Music would bring me in. And I would do this, okay, everybody, we got some rules. And I would do this whole Farley thing before the concert. And it was just a comical introduction on behalf of the station. And that was my shtick. I was not Chris. I was Ed Polanski, head of security, which everyone was like, oh my God, it's Chris Farley. So I was doing these bits, and that's sort of, I guess, during the time, and it's natural for me, I guess, to look all kind of like. And
you've been workshopping that a bit, so
exactly.
So you're a huge fan of Chris Farley. You know all the bits. Basically.
I know the bits, but it's not because I mean I love Farley. I thought he was funny, but it's almost like I think I'm funny. So I don't know if Farley was around today, we'd be like, who's funnier?
But I would have had you doing the famous, like when he interviewed Paul McCartney, because that would have. Do you know that sketch?
Oh, very well. Yeah. I mean, one of the things when I was filming, I actually got to work with the stunt coordinator that worked with Chris.
Right.
And it was an honor. Like I was by the way, I was the method actor when I was doing this. And he came up to me and that was one of the things he said at the end when he was training me to fall through tables. He actually took a selfie of me and he said, I feel like I'm with Chris Farley. That's
a high compliment. So this isn't a hatchet job. This is like there's people from that world.
Oh yeah,
that they want to tell this story honestly, and seriously.
There's a lot of comedians that are narrating it. Lorne Michaels himself was, I know, doing this, and I think the hardest part for me doing this scenario of being Chris Farley wasn't the funny fall through tables and stuff. It was trying to understand who he was as a person. That's what I struggled with. Like they wanted me to act it out. Like you asked, was there a script? No. But I had to be Chris off camera. And I had nothing.
That's your choice.
That was, they left.
That's like method acting, right?
Yeah. And I was 4 days full on method acting as Chris Farley.
Right.
Now, while I was on set, and I had to because it was like back to back filming. Like, so I was I didn't come out of character for the time. So I was insecure. I was like, am I doing a good job? And at one point, director actually turned to me and he goes, are you talking to me as Chris or as Adam? Like, you're doing fine. And I'm like, okay, great. Because, if you need me to do it.
He's probably a lot of insecurity there too, right?
He was. There was nothing to go off of, Jim. So one of the things when I did this and they said, we want you to be Chris. And I'm like, there's no footage. All you have is everything that was recorded of Chris was Chris being a character. Yeah. So I kind of went with what the stunt coordinator advised me on as to who he was. And then I tried to become that insecure, try to get a laugh all the time. Yeah. I think I annoyed the crew because I was doing it constantly. Yeah. So there was a point where it was like, we need to get this finished. Can we stop acting and do your Bart, please?
You're going to be surprised because you haven't seen it. So that's the interesting.
They didn't let me see too much, but I can tell you I had a body double and they made me fall through tables. They made me eat. They made me do a Farley, a true Farley had a thing about milkshakes, beer, and burgers. So in one scene, I had to start with a strawberry shake? Yeah. Or did I start with the beer? No, strawberry. I can't remember. Anyway, I had this huge shake and, and they're filming me drinking the strawberry shake. And I wasn't really drinking it, but, you get it in your mouth anyways. And then I'm drinking the strawberry shake, put it down, grab a pint of beer, guzzled the beer, or acted like it. So I'm going from strawberry to barley, and I had to do 2 of them. He would have 2 pints of beer. Womp, womp. Then they brought in this triple-decker burger with pickles and
And you're drinking real beer?
Yeah, everything's real. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't, and I was actually thirsty, so I made the mistake of going, I'll actually drink that. Anyway, 2 beers. Then I had this burger, and they wanted the gluttony. They were showing
It's a real burger.
It was a real burger. And I'm like, I had to stop at the end.
So they're just going for the overall.
It was Farley's life as Farley would live.
It's all sensory. Like
Yes.
there's food, there's drinking, there was
cocaine,
drugs,
there was
So were the
hookers.
drugs real?
No, but I had the real drug.
So
point.
real hamburger, real beer, but you're telling me the drugs
The drugs weren't real,
weren't
but I
real.
could see why the man needed drugs, because honestly, I was like feeling like drained, and we filmed at 7 a.m, finished at 10, and I was like done. So me having this was a bit of a nice. I said it to somebody? When they were like, "Oh, are you an actor now?" And I said, "No, I'm adding it to my portfolio of what have I accomplished in life. This is one of the best." Experiences that I can say out of all the things you've done in your life, what would you say you feel great about? I'm proud about my daughter. I'm proud about my wife and my marriage, and I'm proud that I got the chance to be Chris Farley. And that's something that I can now, and it makes me feel good, not because of the fame or the awareness. I know everyone watching it's going to enjoy it.
So do you know what channel it's
going to be on Crave TV, HBO, and Apple TV. So
it's a big.
Yeah, I don't think it's
show.
meant for Canada. It's meant for the U.S.
Well, let's talk about some of your other stuff, because you've got a lot going on even without this, which is pretty noteworthy. That's really what made me. Okay, this is getting ridiculous. He's doing so much.
Right.
Let's chat. So your main business over all these, last 20 years is the marketing, FPM3 marketing. That's how you say it, right?
That's correct.
What did you do leading up to the creation of that? Because it's your company, right?
Yeah. I began it in 2003. Radio. I was in radio for years, and
on air, behind the scenes.
No, I was behind the scenes. I mean, I did the bits where, like I just told you, I got on stage, but it was promotions. So I started in weather and traffic back before there was Google Maps, and I would collect it. And then I got promoted at a young age in the radio station at CHML Y95 at the time to traffic scheduling. I'm a computer coder. Honestly, behind scenes, I wrote in C and assembly and all that in my coding. Ended up I applied for a promotion job at the age of 20, got the job. And then while I was there, I did a promotion with a gentleman in sales, and I was pitching Diet Pepsi in Toronto against all these stations. While I was there, I did this whole song and dance. It was Q107, Us, and I think it was 97.7. Anyway, did the pitch, and at the end of it, we won the whole deal. Like Diet Pepsi said, we love Y95, and I did all the presentation. I did all the work. When we're driving back, the sales rep, I turned to him and I said, "That was amazing. We got the whole thing." I said, "How much did we make?" And he was very honest with me. He was wonderful. The sales rep was great. And he goes, "Well, we made, I think the station got 500,000 or something for the whole campaign." And I said, "What do you make, Jerry? Like, what's your cut on that?" Like, just curious, as we're driving in his BMW, and he said, "About 50,000, I think." And I'm like, that took literally an hour and a half to make $50,000.
Right.
I make half of that as my salary in a year,
right.
And I still have to go back and work. That's when I said I want to be in sales.
Sales.
Okay. I tried to get into sales, but they didn't have a position.
Sales. Okay.
In radio, and they didn't have anything. So long story short, I ended up getting frustrated and said, I need to figure this out. I want to make that kind of money. If I'm doing the work, I want the money. And so I ended up starting up the ad agency in 2003, and a few clients from my promotion days got me started.
Okay.
And from there, I call myself a successful failure, Jim. I mean, when someone says, "Oh, hey, Adam, look at your success," I'm a successful failure. So I exploded, took off right away. In a matter of 8 months, I grew from myself to 15 staff. In less than 2 years, I had accounts like Tim Hortons in Oakville. I had Sara Lee Household, NASCAR. It was huge.
Well, what's the secret to your success, do you think?
Honest integrity, the same thing. Like if I'm going to tell you I'm going to do something, I have a vision. If I'm going to work on a client, I'll say, what is it you want to accomplish? I want to make more money. I want to be more aware. I want people to know who I am. So I'll come back, understand their business regardless of what it is. And I'll say, okay, here's how I'm going to accomplish it. And it's going to cost you this much.
Right.
And so in 2005, things were phenomenal. Like I was in a very good world.
Right.
Like I was in NASCAR driving around with a team. Our sales were like in the 10 millions, and we had a plane. I would drive to Philly, and it was so good. I put on a private concert in Edie Smith Farms and brought in Kenny G. I love smooth jazz.
Right.
And literally help finance and support this concert. Anyway, 2008, 2009, recession hits. Boom, from hero to zero. I lost everything in 2 weeks. Lost my marriage, fell apart. Everything just collapsed on me, and I was 65 staff to 4. And looking back, if Adam could talk to Adam in 2008, it would be bankrupted. Just saying it is making my stomach turn a little bit, because every time the phone rang, it was just, what now? What next? And
these are literally bills that cannot be paid.
Yeah, one was like 1.4 million that I couldn't pay. And these were to people like I came from the media, so like CHTV and radio stations.
Right.
I literally owed them thousands of dollars on behalf of these clients.
Right.
And
ads. Okay.
Anyway, I ended up negotiating like cents on the dollar, but I said, can you help me? Let me work out a payment situation, and I did. I got through it. So
it's not easy being an entrepreneur, is it?
No. I would do it again though. Like, I mean, as all the things I told you about, like smart now, what I would do. And anyone that says to me, like, and that's one of the things, like I teach at Mohawk, which is part of I teach sales and entrepreneurship to radio and creative content program. And I love it. And I think what I try to do in my teachings is I try to teach the characteristics which you don't learn in general school. And that is, as I learned the hard way, I had a mentor. And when I started, it was a gentleman that I met back in when I was in radio. He ran a nightclub, and I was intrigued over entrepreneurship, like the business side. And and there's no entrepreneur school. You can get a business degree and everything, but I learned, like many entrepreneurs, that go through cash flows and capitals and employees and government regulations. I mean, my biggest struggle as an entrepreneur was not the business, not the ups and the downs, not the revenue. It was the regulations and the CRA. And let me tell you, that was hard. That was very, very difficult for me. And I had to, that almost shut me down within 3 years of that successful moment when I exploded. The first thing that happened was the door knocked and the CRA's there going, we think you're not paying enough. And then I got audited. I've been audited, I think, 12 times in 20 years. And, and I've won some and I've lost some, or I've negotiated some, but you can't get rid of them. Like, it's not like, well, I'll do it this way and I don't have to deal with them anymore. So it was, that's that bad. I don't want to use the word bad. That's the struggle of an entrepreneur.
Right.
The benefit of an entrepreneur, and the reason I am a serial entrepreneur is that I get great joy of knowing that I'm building it. I'm the one responsible. So, I said to my wife, we've talked about, bad days, and she says, why are we doing this? And I'm like, because the person accountable and responsible is me. So I can't blame anyone other than myself for fixing this or causing it. Right. So whether it's a staff problem, and we all deal with it. Like, you can't get enough staff, you can't get enough, you're not delivering or whatever, but it's me that fixes it. Now the agency handles clients doing e-commerce sales. Okay. And we, from Vancouver, we're going to be opening in Toronto probably next year. I've stepped back. I'm the founder of the company, and now I have people running it. So they're doing all the magic, but we're handling clients of online sales of 100 million to 300 million through just e-commerce sales online.
And now, drum roll, I don't have any sound effects here.
Yeah, that's okay.
It's not in the budget. Drum roll, municipal politics. You're running for councillor, Ward 4 in Hamilton.
I am.
So things are going to get serious now, I suspect.
Oh, yeah.
So are you sure about this?
Oh, yeah. I've been involved actively behind the scenes politically. In fact, during COVID, if you remember, there was a part where the Ontario government was came out with a grant program for a lot of small businesses. I helped assist in rolling that out and marketing it to get the message to small businesses during COVID for the help. I've been involved with municipal politics with the mayor to running with different ward representatives. And I have been encouraged by my peers and my associates to say, maybe you should run for politics, or maybe you should be engaged in some way. And I am very vocal about politics. Like, let's be clear. Like, if you look at my stream, like if I get passionate about things, I get very, I would say, vocal and take my stance. And right or wrong, I get very much committed behind it. So this opportunity that came was, in my opinion, the right timing. I live in the East End. My business is
when you say opportunity, somebody approached you, or
it was more of what was happening at City Hall.
Right.
So at City Hall in Hamilton specifically,
Okay.
there was an opening, but it was, it's a disaster. City Hall in Hamilton has not been, in my opinion, it's bickering, it's infighting, it's no collaboration.
Right.
There's, we got red hills with people spinning out, sewer gates with people wondering how is this being, operating, and potholes across the city. And I just decided now was the time for myself to step in. I wanted a vocal point to make a change in the city, and whoever or what takes place in the city right now in Hamilton in October, I hope that I will be that choice. And there's a lot of choices in my ward, by the way. So there's a lot of good people that are going to be running, and I think it's whoever steps into the role has a lot of work to do. And I love a challenge.
Well, that's to me, municipal politics is where the real stuff gets done. The real stuff means, like, as you said, potholes and fences. So it's not necessarily glamorous politics at that level.
But I'm not a glamorous, I don't know if I look glamorous, but I'm not that glamorous. I'm not looking for the fame, and it sure is, it's not about the paycheck. So it's about, I actually want to do something. I want to do something that's going to help the community.
Are the citizens of Hamilton actually electing Chris Farley to council?
No, they're not. Chris Farley is a bit of a bonus. I think I have a comedic side that you can have a laugh and you can have a joke with it. But no, what you're getting is the gentleman who ran a company in the past, has grown a company, learned from the experiences of what it takes and the trials and tribulations of it, and can understand right from wrong and live by what decisions are being made and stand by it.
Why should I vote for you?
Well, that's a great question, because you will have a voice, and I'm looking at it as a representative of the people, which I feel has been lost. What I've seen with a lot of city council is people are in it to get a paycheck, and they're there to do, hopefully keep their job. What I'm looking for is everyone. That's what council is meant to be. It's about being a voice for the people, and I've struggled with wanting someone to represent me at city council to say, what are you doing about this? What is happening? So, and then when you call, you don't get the empty voicemail or the lost into the void of, well, I said my piece, you're supposed to represent me. So my trust is that why would you vote for me is the simple point of, do you want someone that's actually going to represent you and do it in a way that gives you a chance to feel like you're part of the community? That's what you're going to get with myself.
It's a full-time job, though.
It is.
Yes. You've got the time for it.
Well, I'm going to make the time. The one thing I'll do is I'll have to step, obviously, back from the radio. Will have to step out of the teaching at Mohawk. In regards to the agency, I've already released the responsibilities of that. I've stepped off the board. I'm a founder. So I got a new board that's running it, and they've got it established to do what they need to do. And in the furnace and duct cleaning is the same story. I'm going to be taking a bit of a step back, but I've also got a team in the board to take control of it, to run it. Now, good or bad or otherwise, I can guide from a distance and give direction, but no, to answer your question, those will be off my plate. This is not me to add this to my roster of what to do, and then say, okay, well, now I'll put that into the 10% of the time I had, where I was breathing. I'm now going to be a counselor. So my intention is to make this, because it does require it. Now, my intention is to run 2 terms. I don't want to be a political representative. I think I can make a difference. I think I can make some changes within that time frame that are...
so 2 terms, because things might take 2 terms to...
Well, you know what? That's 8 years. And in 8 years, I should believably be able to deliver on what needs to be done. So in my head, I've got two specific areas that I'd like to address. There's obviously the road safety and, the neighborhood protection and what can we do about road calming. Particularly one goal of mine would be Kenilworth, which is right now just under construction, but I'd like to be able to build a little more. I want to rebuild the business down there like we've seen in different other areas. So like Ottawa Street has done way better. You've seen Lock Street. So my goal is to bring small business back to the ward in that specific area. My second is I'm a cyclist. My spare time what do I do to decompress is I like to ride. And so through the ward, there's trails on the outside, but to get to it is either someone painted lines along a potholed road, or you got to try and find your path along a tractor trailer and some dust flying in your face. So my other goal is to create a safe path between one end of the ward to the other to get access to it. So those are my one direction on top of the other areas that need addressing and concerns.
Do you think you're going to win? Is it possible?
I wouldn't do it if I didn't think I could.
Okay.
I wouldn't be wasting my time because I got a lot of things I could be doing in my life if I didn't think I had a chance. And yeah, I think it is possible. I think whether or not people, and like not everybody knows me, so hopefully the time of me doing this will be able to introduce me to people that don't know me. And again, it was a very tough decision. This wasn't a light decision that I did that was like, what am I going to do today? Okay, okay.
Right.
Hey, council sounds good. It was, methodically discussed direction as to where I wanted to run, why I was running in that, in Ward 4 specifically, and why I felt I could do something. I didn't want to be in a ward that I'm like, okay, well, I got a paycheck I don't need the paycheck every 2 weeks. I didn't feel, why I was running was an area that I work in, I live in, and I thought, okay, well, I want to do something because I get irritated many times where I'm calling going, I got a problem, and no one's responding. So there was and I felt the timing was right. I mean, I'm not young, but I'm not old, and I got enough energy in me that I feel I can actually do something.
That's a good place to end it. So you said it all. So best of luck with all of this.
Thank you,
Adam. Once again, so thank you. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me here.